Well, first we're just going to stretch out his lower body. He's getting ready to go out and throw off the mound a little bit later. So we're going to start with the lower body stretch. We'll get his hamstrings, his hips, and then we'll flip him over and get his quads and hip flexors here in a little bit. We just like to start with the lower body, and then we'll work up before we get to his shoulder.
It's important to get in here and make sure the body's ready for the day.
Yeah, I mean, there's things we do for him based off of some of the things we've measured here in camp that we want to work on specifically. You know, in the past, like his hips are really important, so we'll focus a lot on that on certain days. You know, all his power he's going to get comes from his legs, so we got to make sure those are moving well first. We want all our guys to get some kind of mobility stretching, especially in camp. You know, these are long days. There's a lot of training going on. They're doing a lot of workouts. They're on the field doing a lot of work, so there's a lot of tightness. So we want to prep our guys for that, but recommend this for all the folks that are going to want to get out there and move around and throw. Logan in specifically has been changing his routine slowly and surely, just as he pitch more, get more, I'll say, wear and tear on your body, try to identify some of the things that we need to get better as his career's going on, and maintain some things so he can do what he wants to do every 5 days. These are important things for him and all our guys.
Took me a couple years, right, to realize what we had here, and I think once you figure that out, you try to use as much as you can on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other things too we do with Logan, but all our guys is, after they pitch, they get a lot of soft tissue work. These guys beat their bodies up pretty good when they play or pitch. So soft tissue work, this stretching is critical in between all his starts.
Some days it hurts, some days it feels better. Spring training is a little different because you're on your feet a little bit more in cleats for the first time. We throw bullpens in the off season, but you don't really. That's really the only time you wear cleats. I think I've had springs where I neglect this part of it. As I've gotten older, you realize that you got to get in here and make sure you're doing your stuff so that you don't set yourself back for the season. I live here, so I would come into the complex 2 to 3 times a week and throw my bullpens and everything. That's when the routine really started.
Our main goal is in here is injury prevention, but also, for him to perform at the highest level, he's got to be able to move right. So we need high level movement quality out of him, so he can execute his pitches the way he wants to. On our intake physicals, we measure these guys, we strength test these guys, and so let's flip over. There's certain things on each guy that we know. We've known Webby for a while, so we know some of his areas that he's got to work on. And so we'll individualize it based on some of our testing that we do and some of the things we see. I mean, the lucky thing for us, we get to put our hands on these guys every day, so kind of already know the tight areas on them that we have to work on. We talk about it as a staff, hey, whoever's going to work on Webby today, we already know what he likes, but we also know some of the areas that are he's deficient in maybe, or needs extra work, and so we'll hit those.
From the minute I got to big league camp, there was a heavy veteran team, so that's kind of how I started my relationship, is asking Gresh what's the best way for me to get in here and do my stuff that I need to do so that I can stay healthy, but also kind of staying out of the way of some of the guys. Get to a certain point, you get guys that have been here for a long time. Like, at that point, I was playing with guys who were like 13 to 14 years in the big leagues. And as I've gotten older, I realized I need more stuff than I used to. Now we call each other friends, It's, it hurts me a little bit sometimes, but
never felt so good.
These guys smile when they do this stuff. They laugh. They think it's funny.
Can't let them have all the fun. it's an entertainment business, but this is their livelihood. This is, what they've worked so hard for their whole lives. And so they're entrusting us to help them stay healthy, help them perform. So for me and our staff, the number one thing is that we build trust. They trust us, they believe in us, and they put their careers in our hands at times to help them. And so we have to develop relationships, and that's the only way this thing works. All right, let's flip over. Let's do your shoulder. Yeah, we're just going to start loosening him up. I like to move his arm around, kind of get him to relax a little bit too. And just, feel into his pec a little bit and just mobilize his shoulder a little bit. But yeah, I'm really just trying to pin down his scapula here with my right hand and just stretch his lat out a little bit. One of the things with all our pitchers is just trying to keep that flexion, keep their lat stretched out. It's really important for these guys. Everyone sees the throwing they do in game, but they do way more in between, in practice, throwing off the bullpen mound to kind of, get their craft to be the best they can. So there's a lot more work that people don't see where they add a lot of wear and tear to their arm. For these guys, they got to have a lot of strength in the back of their arm because that slows their arm down. So to throw as hard as it is, they need a lot of power through their body. But to protect their shoulder and their elbow, they got to be really strong in the back, which, their small muscles are not, it's not sexy to work on them, but it's really critical, and we try to push that a lot.
Just wait through 92 so you don't put as much stress on your
Now we're just focusing a little bit on internal rotation, which is typically tighter in most of these guys. His is pretty good, and it'll get a little bit better as we go here. And we like to do this as much as possible in between starts because especially as the season goes, they accumulate more pitches, more innings. It's not always like this. It's not this good, and that just kind of keys us into we may need to do a little extra work in between, some more soft tissue, maybe add in a few extra stretches, and that helps us kind of dictate what he might do for the next 4 or 5 days leading into his next start.
The more you throw, the more you play in the big leagues, the more you realize that even when you don't think you need something, you probably do need something. Sometimes my elbow or my shoulder or my hip, or sometimes it's your feet, right? Your ankle. I mean, there's so many different things that each start is just different. So just making sure that if you can come in here every single day and do something to stay away from those little things. I mean, it's all about maintaining what you may work all off season to get in the best shape, right? Get your shoulder and your elbow and your body in the best shape. So why would you get into the season and kind of neglect that? 21, I hurt my shoulder in Cincinnati. Remember that?
Yeah.
I heard it in the bullpen actually before the game, and I was not very smart, and I threw it. And I think I came out after that game, and there was some obvious inflammation in where I was throwing in my shoulder, and I'm pretty sure I said I'm good to stay here and keep going. And Gresh was like, "No, let's get you back
Flip
home."
it over.
I ended up throwing again, about 10 days later. I think I went on the IL for 10 days and threw again. Still just kind of dealing with some stuff, and that's when I think I went on the IL for a little longer. But those are little moments when you're younger that you realize you got to do maybe some more stuff or maybe less stuff sometimes. I think
One more.
that's one of the biggest things is when you're a young guy, you feel a little bit better.
On your stomach?
You think you're invincible, and you go into the weight room, you try to lift as much as you can, and you try to do stuff. And Gresh has helped me a lot with that, not being a dumb. the big one.
From that moment on is when his routine started to form. And you know, as a young pitcher, he learned I can't miss some stretching, I can't miss the exercises, I gotta stay on top of this. And I think that was kind of the foundation of his routine today. You know, he said, kind of figured out, like, this is not gonna feel good. I'm gonna miss pitching. I don't wanna do that. Tell me what I need to do to not be on the IL again. And, you know, it was a learning moment. We didn't want to lose him, of course, but he did come back. I think he pitched pretty good that year. Take a breath. Not much.
Pretty good today.
Yeah, let's flip over on your back.
I came up, it was Bum and it was Johnny, it was Samardzija, it was guys that threw 200 innings every year, and I wanted to be like those guys, and those guys especially were very strict on their routines. You know, Bum was a guy you didn't want to. He was pretty nuts with it. You know, he didn't want to. He set out this thing for stretches, and he just wanted to be like that. You know, right away that if you're going to be a successful starting pitcher in this game, that you had to have a pretty strict routine on what you did, and the more you do it too, I think helps. The first time you throw 200 innings, I feel like your body gets used to it, but that has a lot to do with your routine and staying in here and making sure you're doing all the right things to be able to do that.
I like to push on his first rib over here as well. And, you know, that gets pretty tight on him specifically, but a lot of our throwers, it's pretty common, and it's one thing that we want to check on him pretty regularly. So he's to the point now where he basically tells us it's tight, and I need some work on it. And that's kind of been great, the relationship that he's formed with me and my staff of like, hey, I need to find Tony and I need him to get him to adjust this, or, you know, I need some stretching here. Like, you know, that's what we want all our guys to do, is like tell us before it becomes a problem. So, all right, big guy, let's do it.
Nice stretch.
What do you think, 50 pitches now?
Yeah, let's go with 22.
Okay, what's the goal of the bullpen session today?
Throw strikes for the most part. Just really feel my mechanics, getting over my front leg and finding the shapes I want for all my pitches. For me, it's a build-up, a gradual build-up to live BPs, and then from live BPs to game. So obviously live BPs is as close as you can get to a game, but still not trying too hard, because the fans will bring out that natural adrenaline and you'll get that extra 2 or 3 miles per hour naturally. Still go out there and compete during lives, but just trying to be efficient. I'm trying to get into game shape and trying to get my off-speed slider in the zone more. Got a good mix of 2 fastballs and keep the splitter working. I'm still trying to earn a spot here as a starter. It's just not trying to blow out the arm, be throwing 98 right now. If it's spring or game, I just want to make sure that my body feels good all throughout.
Velocity-wise, what are you trying to hit today?
Probably stay around 92. At the top, maybe average like 90, we'll see. If it comes naturally, that's all that matters to me. If I'm out there like trying to rip it to get 96, that's a different story. When your game plan is to take it easy. But if it's coming out just natural, then I mean, I think that's probably what you want.
What's the highest you've ever gotten to?
In a game, 105.1. Rookie year, a long time ago, 2018.
What was the highest you got last year?
I think 99 point something. It was the first season I didn't hit 100, so I was kind of disappointed with myself, because there was a few times I tried to get it, but I feel physically in the right place this year. So if I want it, I got it. I know I do. Also, don't mind the snot rockets and all that. I kind of, if I'm pitching that day, I'm not trying to be as clean as I possibly can. Exactly, you gotta be comfortable more than anything.
What advice would you give to a young baseball player who's trying to hit, 105 one day?
So, I would say just never give up and follow your dreams, obviously, and then do the things it requires to build strength and put on muscle and learning your body. I think it's important to have like a mental routine just as you would for a physical one. And that looks different for everybody. Some people have therapists, some people have like a list of things on their notes that get them locked in for a game, and it's really whatever works for you. Everybody's different, but I feel like once you find something that works, you kind of just stick with it and it just becomes who you are.
What are a couple things on your mental checklist?
Being on the mound. That's one. I've had managers tell me that in the minor leagues, like, oh, I just like how you're an a-hole on the mound, and I didn't really notice it, but if that's one of the traits that your managers are telling you is like that plays for you, or that's what stands out to them, like almost embrace it. I'm not trying to make friends out there, I'll tell you that. These things will happen during the season, but you kind of build calluses, like a little opening on your thumb. The little things fans don't really see during the season, but they could be so small and still like kind of bother you. Just little blood stains on there. But it's just from gripping it, and yeah, I think mostly it starts out here with the dry weather. The seam hitting it consistently. Oh my God, thank you. What's up, brother?
How you doing today?
How's it going?
Doing good. Hair looks great.
Thank you.
You know I always comment on it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. You mic'd up, G?
I'm here. I'm hot, baby.
Just a little bit more down. This never happens, but got some dirt.
Good company with you.
No, I wore New Balance. Yeah, just new look. It's a new look.
It's a big loop right there, dog.
Yeah. It's just how I was raised. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Did you do something different?
No, I'm just trying to
Did you
finish
move your
like a fastball. It's on the side still.
Okay, I just want to make sure because that looked straight down.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's more intent, I think, with it
Okay.
than I used last show, just kind of letting it fall out.
And it kind of,
Float in there. Yeah.
Yep.
Have that depth, but it still looks like it's coming out.
well, it's coming out.
On the
You got a
side.
little bit of a this instead of staying behind it like you want. So more behind it, just stay through it. Kind of like that.
Yeah, that was better.
Kind of like that. Love it.
Still like to get more plate for longer there.
Okay.
Like start that middle. I don't know where do you think that started?
Middle. So you're gonna have to think a little bit inner half.
More
there.
in.
Yeah.
That's a swing.
I see you ripping.
That's a swing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the last two pitches were the hardest. So that's, if it's gonna be a light day, that's how you want it. You don't want it like a 93 mixed in there in the middle of the bullpen. Have some control, have some feel for what you're doing. Know if it's a light day, that it's gonna be a gradual build up to that point. And yeah, just don't overdo it when it's February. So
Nice and easy, getting ready for the next one.
yes, sir.
Today was an easy day. He was prepping for his next day, which is on Sunday. That's why it's a little bit lower intensity today. So he did exactly what he needed to do, make sure his shapes were fine. Got up to 94, which we didn't want him to, but he did. Ball's flying out of his hand right now, so he's in a good place.
Thanks for following along with my bullpen session. See you later.
Don't say anything crazy. Who, me? No. I shave like once every 3 months. Bands and pliers. That's it. There's no key. Wait till my arm's ready to go. Just warm up some muscles. About it. Honestly, don't exactly know. Not big in the scientific part of it, but I do them. Always have. So, not gonna stop now.
Okay, what does this do?
Just move the arm. in reality. Get the arm moving, some of the muscles fired up, but they don't bounce too well. So it's more chasing than throwing. The goal of today is probably get ready for tomorrow, but at the same time, make sure I move my body enough to not just feel like stagnant. I gotta find Trev. Where'd he go?
You want to out or in before you want to go?
No, man.
Go whatever.
How far you want to go?
Whatever you need, like 120 somewhere in there.
You throwing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Too? I mean, today's normal catch play is what I would say. It's just playing catch, move the arm around, get ready for tomorrow, but don't overdo it because we got pinned tomorrow and then I'm live 2 days after that, so just gotta make sure I'm ready to go.
Okay, working on one-handed glove presentation. Keep the ball in your hand, throw with that ball, keep the ball in your glove. Okay. The key when you're presenting the ball to a base is to line yourself up to that base if you can. Right? Come back or right to you and make sure you get some momentum going to the base that you're going to throw it to. For this next couple rounds, I want you to finish with your backside. Catch the ball, step and throw, finish with the backside. Okay? Just for purposes of the drill. I know it's going to be awkward, but just get this back leg, didn't matter whether you're right-handed or left-handed. As you throw it, don't let it get dead here. Okay? Get dynamic with it and get this back leg ahead of the front.
I never thought of that.
No. They all finish like that. That's kind of nice.
It's gonna feel weird doing that.
Yeah, because I always stick and go like this.
Get it? You're potentially throwing on this uphill slant. You got to move behind the mound. You're potentially throwing on a downhill slant. The key is to stay in your legs, right? All of these different variables and factors are going to make you do weird things with your body just because of the slope. We're going to fight through that, all right? Catch the ball. Even if you're at this angle, you can still stay in your legs and keep your shoulders square to whatever you do. This side as well, all right? As long as you stay here. Once you get here, now you get tilted. The brain says, I'm gonna deliver this ball uphill to him. Okay, that's what your brain tells you. Your body's not gonna do that naturally, but if your brain tells you that, then your accuracy is better up in here. Good, stay in it.
What?
I gotta face him.
That's still better than the one down.
I was completely closed off. I was trying to rotate to him. That doesn't work for me.
We can fundamentally do the things that are, classified as the margins, the little things in this game, then we got a chance to beat anybody that comes play us, right? Mm-hmm. But we got to do that, and we got to concentrate on it, and it's really important, right?
Every out's important. So, I mean, you don't get that many ground balls in a whole season, but if you keep repping it, obviously you're going to get better at it, and then those couple times you get it, since it's not all the time, you don't get used to it. So the more times you do it in practice, the more times you'll probably get it right in the game. So they're just free outs that we have to take advantage of.
Get ready with me. Day in the life of Birdsong. Hayden Birdsong. It's a really good time because they're going to post this video. Now's a really good time to talk about companies that you like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really good time for that. What if they hear it?
I mean, it'd be really cool, but I got a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
So I think we got live next Tuesday. So gotta be ready for that. Thanks for following my practice day.